In imperfection of union lies instability. Unequal actions and reactions will unite with unwillingness, which increases in proportion to their degree of departure from exact equality in opposition. When the potentials of the opposites are too far removed from equality, then will union cease. In organic life, the union of reproduction of opposites is limited, and beyond the limitations, reproduction is impossible. In the chemistry of inorganic life, the unstable union of unequal and opposite states of motion is also limited, and beyond the limitations, union and reproduction is impossible. This is a universe of reproduction of ideal in accumulated potential, of the constant of energy, of registration of the soul of ideal in inertia, and of reproduction of accumulated potential. The ideal of all things is produced by union of opposite actions and reactions under conditions favorable to union, and is reproduced only under similar conditions. Reproduction is governed by the following laws. Unions of opposed actions and reactions are possible only within certain limitations. When union does not take place, there can be no reproduction. Equal and opposite actions and reactions, when united, are satisfied in their unions and will remain united. Stable unions will always reproduce true to species. Unequal and opposite actions and reactions, when united, are unsatisfied in their unions and will always seek their true tonal mates. Unsatisfied unions are unstable unions. Unstable unions never reproduce true to species. Unstable unions tend to return to their separate tonal states. If either mate in an unstable union finds a more equal mate, it will always leave the former and go to the latter. That which is true of chemical unions is true of all species of organic life. Every chemist knows to a certainty that he can break up any unstable compound formed by the union of unequal opposites by merely introducing an element which is more nearly a tonal mate, a true tonal mate, to either of the united elements. Consider, for example, a chemical union between the male action sodium, which is 601 plus of the sixth octave, with selenium, which is 702 minus of the next octave, an unequally opposite female. The introduction of iodine 801 of the eighth octave will cause sodium to leave selenium and combine with iodine to form the more stable compound sodium iodide. Introduce bromine 701 minus of the seventh octave, and sodium will in turn leave iodine to form sodium bromide, a still more stable compound. Finally, introduce chlorine, which is the true mate 601 minus of the sixth octave, and sodium will leave the bromine in order to form the very stable compound sodium chloride. No element of any octave whatsoever can displace chlorine from its union with sodium. Chemically, every element is both alkaline and acid, but it is preponderantly one or the other. All male electropositive elements are preponderantly alkaline. Said that wrong. All female elements are preponderantly acid. The alkaline male actions, when united with equal and opposite acid female reactions, are neutralized. They become salts. Alkaline male actions united with unequal acid female reactions attenuate the acidity or alkalinity. Hydrogen united with its true mate, helion, becomes a neutral salt. Hydrogen and fluoride will unite as an acid. Hydrogen and chloride will unite as a stronger acid. All acids or alkalis increase in their strength as their resentment of unequal union increases. Likewise, the ability to reproduce decreases as the acidity or alkalinity of such unions increases. Chemical elements in union reproduce by the same process by which all other states of motion reproduce. Of this more will be written, when further consideration of causes makes the effects of those causes more comprehensible. All male actions are centrifugal, and all female reactions are centrifugal. Variance of centrifugal and centrifugal force is variation of potential. Union and reproduction are always governed by sex periodicity in electromagnetic charge, the order of which will be written down and charted. Consider, for example, the reproduction of the sound of the human voice echoing in the hills. Sound, like all other forms of energy, is an accumulated potential. Release this high potential and it immediately expands. Expansion is radiation. Radiation is discharge of accumulated potential. As the sound of the voice, as accumulated potential, radiates into the silence of higher octaves of lower potential and impacts against the closely integrated high potential of psi, the degenerative discharge is reversed and becomes generative charge. Expanding, lowering potential is reversed to contracting higher potential. In other words, the sex opposites in the radiating sound waves are forced into closer contact by the impact, so that the wave dimensions which originally produced the sound are restored. The counterpart of the sound as cause has been produced as a reproduced effect of that cause. It is not the same sound, it is another sound. It is a reproduced counterpart, a regenerated reincarnation of the state of motion which originally produced the sound. That which is true of regeneration by echo is also true of reproduction by radio or any other similar process. All are but the reversal of radiation into regeneration by impact against the inertial planes of higher potentials. Generation or regeneration is an effect of gravitation. An impact of radiative energy against any lower octave of integration will set up the necessary resistance to the radiative energy to regenerate it into its original form. Next chapter, Energy Transmission. Some old misconceptions must now be corrected by a brief statement of principles, the full explanations of which will be given in their proper order. That light travels, energy is transmitted, electricity is conducted or inducted, and that heat radiates from its source to other localities are principles which modern science accepts as fundamental facts. These great misconceptions give rise to the theory that the ether is a quivering, elastic solid existing in space along the undulating waves of which light, heat, and all forms of energy can travel from one place to another. It is hereby conceded that all motion is expressed in waves, but those waves are not undulating. Energy cannot travel along waves, because entire waves do not form in sequence. In other words, one whole wave is not completed before another one begins. Waves are but effects which evolve as their cause evolves.